podcast. Talk about landscaping stuff. Got any landscapers up there?
Yeah, it'd be one of the more boring podcasts out there. Definitely, just talking about.
You can rate and review like lawn mowing machines and stuff. Probably a niche market out there for it somewhere.
I think so. That just sounds like the same thing, boring as far as me mowing the lawn, me talking about mowing the lawn.
Oh Jesus! Fuck! I have coffee on my shirt.
Oh boy. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another episode of the Star Wars Clone Wars Retro. I think with it being Star Wars Clone Wars throws me off every time. Just too many words going on. I'm the mower of lawns, Travis now.
Mower of lawns. I am the cutting of hair, Taylor Field. And I just need to shout out something here. So, last episode, if you tuned in, Travis went on this huge tangent about not enough lightsabers on the thumbnail. I'll have you know, I pre-made this thumbnail for this episode at the same time I made Anakin the 10. And this one, what is it? It is Mace Windu with his lightsaber. It's glorious.
It is, but I still think you've chosen wrong.
What? How did I choose wrong?
Well, I think personally that you had them all right so far for the most part. I think you could throw some lightsabers in there. I think last episode or last thumbnail should have not been on the 10th. That should have been some lightsabers, and then this one should have been Cat Bane because I don't know when he appears next again. So I thought you should maybe go for the more rare characters at times. Like, I think Ventress should have been in one already. Cat Bane, because we know...
Cat Bane, I'm saving him. He has some good quality shots that'll be making a thumbnail pop up soon. There wasn't anything too good. Well, we'll get into that.
Just the look of them, But you know what? And then also an update from last episode, if you are following along, I threw the poll, I made a mini poll in our Geekverse chat about if Kylo Ren and Rey would be getting it on if they're on the same side of the Force. Everybody unanimously said yes, except Dylan put one asterisk. He said dark side yes, light side no. But other than that...
When did everyone else agree with you on this?
Everybody said yes.
Privately text you?
Everyone said yes.
I know Jessica said yes.
Jessica, I saw
Dylan
Tyler.
said his.
I saw Tyler, and I swear Kirkland said it. If not, Kirkland would be with me
Kyle?
100%. Kyle's not part of the Geekverse anymore, He's just a side
honorary input or something like that.
I don't think he cares enough for the honorary input. Either way, I was right. You know what I'm right about? I don't know, I got no transition. The other thing I'll set for this episode is Taylor thought he was a real smart guy because I texted him to say, oh, we're selling for $330, and then he goes, nah, I have to cancel. And then there's a knock on my door. He didn't even wait long enough for me to start freaking out and be like, what do you mean you have to cancel? He got too excited and too giddy for the troll. So he said that and then knocked on the door immediately. So yeah, and I knew it was you, even though my new place, I'm quite mad I don't have a peephole. That's one of the most frustrating things ever.
Did you install one?
That's a good question. It is worthy to have, to be honest, especially when you got churchgoers coming around and whatnot. No disrespect, but I don't want to talk to you. You're not going to convert me at this point.
Well, you know what you could get? We got those at my work. We have those Nest camera doorbells. So
I don't need that much. Those are hundreds of bucks.
It's $200. But
yeah,
if it ever gets removed or stolen, they'll replace it for free for life, and then it actually syncs to your phone.
I've installed them before.
While you're cutting the grass or whatever, some churchgoer rings the doorbell, and you can be like, "Sorry, I'm mowing the lawn," and you can.
I know how they work. My previous job, I had to physically install them.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
That was part of that task?
It was.
Oh, that's wild.
Yeah, so I know all of the Nest cameras. You know what I know all about? These episodes. Not really because it's my first time watching them, but I guess in overall these episodes, there was more good than bad. I don't think there's any bad in these. This was back to maybe a couple episodes ago where I was digging most of these episodes. I really enjoyed, I'd say, the final 3 episodes, and then 1 and 2 they're alright.
What is his name? Mr. Freeze making a comeback.
Mr. Vindy, yeah.
Mr. Vindy.
And that's what I hate. They are we were on this argument of what is an arc. It is an arc, but it's just it's so loosely tied to it. But yeah. So did you have anything to say overall on those? I don't know. Well, it's the first time I'm doing this, but I'm giving the perspective because so far this season, this is the season finale of season 1, so we're already gone through one season. I'd say so far my thoughts on the entire show so far is it's very, I won't say 50-50, I'll say like 60-40 or 65-35. There's some episodes I really enjoy and like, but the other episodes that I don't like, I quite dislike. That's where I guess I can say versus like the Spider-Man retro that Dylan and I and Kyle do is like I find the quality that's always consistent. It's always good to great, and then there's a few downer episodes. And then also with these is I find I like the one-off episodes more than the arc episodes. I think the arc episodes go on too long, like the Vindy stuff. That was 3 episodes, and really I don't think it was that special or important. Like we have the Cat Bane episode here. We have I guess there's some what's the planet called with all the Twi'leks on it?
Ryloth.
What Ryloth? Am I saying Twi'leks right?
Twi'leks.
Twi'leks, huh? But Ryloth, like that one actually works that 2-parter, but I think sometimes the arc when they're like 3 episodes or 4 episodes, they're sometimes a little too long. But yeah, so this season for me, I'd say like I enjoyed a lot of it. There's still a lot of stuff that took me out of it, and I would be bored. I'd be like, ugh, like this is why I didn't enjoy the show the first time. But there was more good than bad. So for this season, at least for the opening season.
Yeah, Dr. Vindy in that first episode, he didn't have much screen time. He just said, "You're all doomed," and then he got bored on the ship and left. But I think that episode was actually much better than the one before it in that arc. I like this one, how it was just, it got pretty dark, they're trying to survive.
Well, let me throw out the synopsis, so if people aren't watching the show, they at least know what we're talking about. Because I was talking about the overall season, and you just went right into one episode, okay. So, it's fine. This, garbage pile ship that we drive here, that hunk of junk in the sky, that's the geek-verse right there. Even though the lab has been shut down, Dr. Vindy, aka Mr. Freeze, manages to activate the dread Blue Shadow virus, infecting Ahsoka, Padme, and many clone troopers. The plague is fatal within 48 hours. That's quite a long time, actually. Anakin and Obi-Wan must travel to the mysterious planet Lego to... Is it Lego?
I don't remember him saying Lego.
It's
in the
not
TV
capitalized. Look at this. Must travel to a mysterious planet, Lego, to secure the only known antidote to the sickness. But it says mysterious planet Lego.
It must be. They didn't say Lego in the show. It must be like maybe Lego.
Or it's just an error there. But Wikipedia, come on, keep it up. To secure the only known antidote to the sickness, Anakin and Obi-Wan arrive on the mysterious planet to find the population living in fear of a mysterious force that has been killing anything that tries to leave their world. With the help of the Jabu, a clever Legion boy, Anakin and Obi-Wan must solve the planet's mystery before they can leave, and before everyone is infected with the Separatist virus dies. So now you can continue.
So I thought it was cool them being trapped below, and the intensity of this virus, and it being a really pressured and timed kind of like event that was happening. I really the moment all these characters are together, and you just see like the 2 clones with no markings on their armor. Immediately when this outbreak happens, like, oh well, they're dead. They're there yet again, just to die. And sure enough, they're the ones who die. It's like, oh, that's so sad. Jar Jar, he's good. And did you get pissed off what he did to compromise Padme?
I can't remember. Did he bumped her helmet off, right?
He tripped, and she saved him, and it ripped the tube off of her helmet, and so
ridiculous.
She was compromised.
Just ridiculous. And I hate at the end when they're like, oh, you helped us so much, Jar Jar. 1, he created that problem. 2, he's done so many other terrible things. But 3, when we gotta train him with the blast or anything like that. No, you just need to train him to be at home and not do anything. I really hope Jar Jar's not that much in the next season, because these episodes were quite painful anytime he was in. This one wasn't that bad because he wasn't actually in the episode that much, but I just don't like any use of Jar Jar, because I just feel like in the show if they say, hey, this guy's a fool, and then he's still on all these missions, doesn't make sense. It kind of makes sense for the movies. Doesn't make sense that he's like a fucking senator or something like that now, but at least he's not on the adventure. But yeah, I'm so done with Jar Jar.
I thought it was very cool when the Jedi went to Lego, and they end up, you know, seeing all these battle droids that are under this boy's control. He reprogrammed them.
Mm-hmm.
It was just this kind of forgotten separatist planetary defense weapon that prevents ships from leaving the planet.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was a very cool kind of thing, and they managed to take it out. Yeah, I like just kind of the out of the box thinking that this episode had, and just the cool vibes and kind of concept that it had. It was very exciting. I liked it.
Yeah, I didn't mind it. I thought there's a chance I could be annoyed by the kid a lot more, but I thought he was fine. It was good, and yeah, it was like a fun little kind of, I don't know, kind of a little twist there. You know, all these people are scared of something, and really it's just this kid kind of pulling strings and whatnot. So I liked that. I just feel that episode overall, it didn't get the blood flowing. You know, it just kind of felt like we had to show off the blue shadow virus and what it can do, and everyone is saved other than the clones, but like all our main characters. Like I said, I didn't mind the boy, but then Obi-Wan and Anakin didn't have any like big action set piece or anything like that. You got Jar Jar, so there's not much. I didn't have any notes, anything like that. It was just a fine episode of like that. I think that arc was just pretty weak. All Dr. Vindy, and is this it for him, or is he ever back?
I think he's gone.
Okay, good.
Dr. Vindy.
Yeah.
Dr. Vindy. Can't do his voice.
Is that everything you have to say on this episode?
I think so, yeah.
I like that one moment when Padme was getting gurneyed out and whatnot. They kind of did like a secret love handshake. No one's looking, and he just kind of, grasped her hand and whatnot. So yeah, that was about it. But I just feel like the whole arc was kind of a nothing arc, and over the top villain, Jar Jar, not too much exciting stuff happening to the heroes, I feel. So I guess it was fun to see some sort of virus, almost terrorist-like weapon in the Star Wars world, but really that was enough to get me excited. So I'm giving this a right in the middle thumb.
I give this one thumb up.
Talking about your haircut, did you get the top cut at all? It looks like you did. You said you weren't going to do that though.
Well, I asked when I went into the hairdressers, I'm like, I got this party, this is the theme, Great Gatsby theme, party I'm going to. And so I'm like, if you have any tips or recommendations, like if you know where to like tweak it or cut it or snip, like I don't know, like you just go for it. She's like, okay, well yeah, I'll leave you some lengths so that you can comb over and you can blow dry and then put tons of gel in your hair and slick it. I'm like, okay, well I'm wearing a hat, but okay. And so she went to town and like cut and snip, and this is the result, and I feel pretty good about it. She left me enough length so I could comb over.
Okay, I had to ask just because I felt that last time we talked you said that you weren't going to get the top cut at all.
I know, I couldn't resist though. Whenever I get a haircut, I get to do the whole shave with it too.
You're not shaving at all.
I'm shaving after because I just came from the hairdressers.
Okay.
And I'm gonna shave when I go home. But I want the nice dry smoky air to flow through my hair today because it's so smoky here.
Mystery of 1,000 Moons. Even though the lab has been shut down, No, I did that one already, sorry.
I was gonna say, what? Is there a third episode in this arc?
Oh, Dr. Vindy.
Dr. Vindy.
Storm over Ryloth. Ryloth, homeworld of the Twi'lek people.
Twi'lek.
Twi'lek people. Twi'lek people has been subjected to military occupation by the droid army of the Separatists and surrounded a blockade of the Trade Federation battleships. While launching a surprise attack against the blockade, Ahsoka disobeys Anakin's orders and ends up losing most of her squadron. Even though she's emotionally rocked by this failure, Anakin helps her learn to preserve, placing her in charge with another risky task.
Preserve or persevere?
Persevere.
To preserve.
There's a smudge on my line. I'm not even joking. Who knows? I probably still already have to preserve. Yeah, to persevere, placing her in charge of another risky attack. So I don't know how I feel about this episode. I liked it better than the first one, but I felt it was another just kind of all-right episode. I felt like this was an episode that was made for Saturday morning, like they all are, but really like gonna teach the kids a lesson and always keep trying hard and keep at it and everything like that. Where realistically, I had a problem with this episode for a few things. One, she did make a mistake that she said like over 32 people died, something like that, and she lost like 2 captains or commanders and whatnot, and we see, what was that guy's name, Ajax or whatever, he fucking blew up, I don't know what his name was, but so I don't necessarily believe that she should get another crack at it. I don't think this is a thing where it's like, oh, you'll get her next time, kid. It's like, no, they are in the middle of a war, and maybe you should be like, you know what, you're not going to lead the mission again. And also, I think this, again, for me, like, bang, like, I can't remember the expression, but it's kind of a head against the wall as far as Anakin, because he's giving her so much crap about listening and following orders and blah, 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 and he does not, whether it's in Attack of the Clones or even Revenge of the Sith, maybe he's a little bit more mature, but most of the time, he's doing stuff off the cuff, and even then, she goes, oh, like, you don't follow orders, and he's like, yeah, I know, but I'm trying to teach you the right way, but it just didn't, it felt very out of character for me, this whole episode of, one, just in general, the believability of, like, let's let her run another mission, because to me, it's already not believable that a Padawan is a commander. I don't think that should happen, even if they are a Jedi Knight, then sure, but a Padawan, that doesn't make any sense at all. And Anakin being kind of like a, you know, adult sort of thing. I think that's the same thing I have with the problem with the series. Maybe it'll grow on me eventually with this whole season. Seeing Anakin being like a leader and whatnot, to me does not, like, the leader in the sense of teaching and being calm with someone does not work at all, because in the movies that contradicts his character. That's the whole thing. His character's kind of a loose cannon, and I don't understand where between these series and then Revenge of the Sith where he loses that. You know, I guess it's because he's where Padme's gonna die, but
it'll come when we get there.
Yeah, but that's and maybe there'll have to be a good reason. But I also, you know, believe George Lucas when he said he was gonna do a good movie showing a good trilogy showing the, you know, beginning of Darth Vader, and like, oh, it'll come great, and I still have yet to see that trilogy of it.
Yeah, but at the time we all loved it.
First of all, don't say we all, because there's many adults that did not like it. Those were movies where both, the first two both got
Those adults happening to be the Last Jedi haters as well?
I don't know.
Did you like it a lot when you first watched it the first time?
Yeah, I did like them a lot. But the thing is, when you grow up and you mature and you realize, hey, this is wrong, that happens.
But he made the movie for that generation at that time, and it worked on us. We enjoyed it.
I don't think so, because he said that the same thing with the original trilogy, right?
Sure.
It's a kid's movie. That's what he said. It started as a kid's movie. It's not like the people that grew with the original trilogy eventually went, oh, fuck Chewbacca and fuck Luke Skywalker. With this, yeah, you can make it for kids because they're not going to catch certain things. But then it should be outlasting where when we grow up, for the majority of us, be like, oh, I still like this, I still like this. Where the majority have grown up and be like, these are awful, and this really, in my opinion, really hurts the original trilogy. I know you can take things out. Maybe not the original trilogy, but it hurts Vader specifically. And I think that's, I guess my overall thoughts too with this is I'm not a big fan of Anakin-centered episodes because it just doesn't match with what I have in my mind. And like, maybe when we get to the end of this, I'll say, okay, you're right. But George Lucas, I know he's not fully writing this, but he's a producer, executive producer. He many times was like, oh yeah, you gotta have Jar Jar in those. So it's like, I don't have much trust in him when it comes to Anakin, you know, because I don't think he knows to write a subtle way of a person turning into someone evil, you know. His way of showing Anakin kill a bunch of kids, it's like the least subtle thing. It's like, yeah, it has an effect, but really, the jump from, you know, good guy to saving their wife to I'm gonna kill everybody is just a little too harsh, and I don't believe Anakin is a leader here, especially because we've tried to figure out episodes ago how many months were in between this and Attack of the Clones, but even if it's 6 months, maybe a year, okay, but still, it's like he was so immature in that, and then Revenge of the Sith, he's still so immature, so it's hard for me to get him being a leader, and anytime he's a leader, I'm not a big fan of these episodes.
Do you ever think, though, that the Anakin you see in Revenge of the Sith is 20 years difference between Darth Vader we've seen in New Hope, so he's gone through a lot, he has a lot of change. Because that's for a character, that is a lot. Like, the Darth Vader you see at the end of Revenge of the Sith, he is probably, emotionally crushed and just still like the Anakin that he was, just really compromised and crushed and just really just angry.
Yeah.
But he's nowhere near like that powerful, collected, and evil like Darth Vader that he is in A New Hope.
I can agree with you. My problem is not necessarily, I do believe in 20 years he could change and become that stoic figure. My problem has always been how he turns and the ramifications of what happens with Obi-Wan, with Padme, and I feel that I feel the idea is valid, and the idea if he's trying to save his love and trying to save Padme, that works. But for me, when I always thought about Vader becoming a dark guy, a dark side user, a dark guy, like was either one, something like the Padme thing where it was something for love and he had to go down that route, or it was just he realized this was the way to do it and he was a bad guy. Obviously, later on in the original trilogy, they make him more sympathetic, so you go, okay, it's something bad that happened to him. My thing is that in Revenge of the Sith, Anakin just kind of comes off as clueless and not that smart, which I never thought about that with Vader. I thought, he may realize that he's making a bad choice going down the dark side, but he has to do this. And they were trying to go through that in Revenge of the Sith, but I think it is too quick. And this is just me rewriting the entire trilogy, but I think that I don't know if turning him fully evil in one movie was a good idea. I think not that I still want a Revenge of the Sith, but I think him being Vader at the end of Revenge of the Sith should have been the second movie, and in the third movie you maybe get seeing him Vader, things like that. Even have Obi-Wan face off with him as Vader, because I think him turning to Vader, the idea of a Vader prequel, we didn't really get a Vader prequel. Like, we kind of did, but you get 2 seconds of him, that's it. It's not because I need to see the costume of him nailing people down. It's just, it's too quick, it's too fast, and he just comes off kind of dumb of it. Like, he clearly knows the Emperor is evil and doing all this bad stuff, and it's just because, okay, Padme's going to die. And like I said, that's a valid reason, but he doesn't really struggle with that. We don't get to see him talk about that. Like, he should be like, hey, like, I understand I'm doing really bad here, but I gotta save Padme, and I explain this to Padme and whatnot. I explain this to Obi-Wan, where he's just like, from my perspective, the Jedi are evil, which we joke about all the time on Geek First, but I feel like they only set that up a little, but really, he was fine with the Jedi for the most part up until, and even Mace Windu, like, he's pretty good about this, and like, he's like, hey, like, we got the Emperor, we got him dead to rights. He's, don't listen to Anakin. Like, sure, Mace Windu's like a little bossy to him, but then he just comes off as kind of like a pouty kid in Revenge of the Sith. So maybe you got to go back and listen to our commentary tracks because we watched them all. But yeah, that's my breakdown of Anakin, and that's why for me, Anakin as a character does not work, and I'm still not invested in this Anakin because he's the reverse. He's just way too much of a leader. He's way too opposite of the prequels. And not that I like prequel Anakin. I would like this Anakin in the movies more because they always, like, when Obi-Wan talks about him being this great pilot and great commander in the Clone Wars, I don't see that in the movie. I just see this, like, wimpy little bitch who's just, talking about sand and, he's, I don't know, cutting pears with knives, Writing, and I don't even know if it's Ian Christian's fault, it's, writing wasn't the greatest in there, so. What do you think about this episode, Taylor?
I really enjoyed this episode. I like how much of a toll it kind of shows onto Ahsoka, and I don't know why. I like Ahsoka just really thought she could do it, and she disobeyed her orders, and ended up resulting in Admiral Yularen being almost killed. I love how we really got to feel the depth and the scale of this war in this episode where she disobeyed her order, it compromised their plan, and their Jedi cruisers were just getting wrecked. One exploded completely, the other one was heavily damaged, and they just barely escaped out of there. And she didn't only cost, them the 30 pilots or whatever she had, she costed like thousands of lives on that ship.
Yeah.
So yeah, I definitely agree with you. It's not like, we'll give you another chance,
Because even Ahsoka is just like, you don't know everything's gonna be okay, blah blah blah, this and that. Like, it's a good little talk they have there. But yeah, like, I just feel like this isn't child's play. Like, you shouldn't be wasting opportunities like this and letting this little young girl be the pilot captain of all these ships again.
I get though that letting her pilot, her own squadron of fighters is definitely different from letting her pilot a bunch of like vendors, and that's a step up in the right direction. He probably wouldn't have given her more power than that, but to command like a squadron, I think that's fine and that's within reason.
Yeah, to me it depends the battle. If it's like a mini squadron and there's a bunch of other commanders there, or she's the only one, fine. But I don't understand that.
Well, there were other commanders, and she was still, she was leading her squadron, but she was at the she was still held accountable, you know, and there were still higher ranking officials there to actually relay orders to her, and she would have to obey those orders. She wasn't in charge of everything, just her squad, and she was giving the orders to break through and push through to a certain objective. That was it. And she was leading her squad to achieve that objective. It wasn't her plan, it wasn't her giving the orders overall. And then, you know, when she was outmaneuvered, you know, she disobeyed those orders, and she should have came back, but she didn't. So her not paying attention and not obeying the orders that she was given by her superiors compromised their whole offensive. But I feel like when she was given another chance, it wasn't necessarily the same opportunity she had with leading the squad. I feel like Anakin, he already had the plan proposed. This time he was leading the charge on his own end, and he was just trusting, you know, Ahsoka just to make that calculated move, obviously through the Force, just when to get the ships through hyperspace and appear them there. Or the one Venator, because Anakin was controlling the other Venator class destroyer to ram into their ship. So I feel like he didn't give Ahsoka the whole picture and the whole ability to basically control that entire operation, but gave her the opportunity to just follow up with his plan that would give her the confidence in, you know, herself again. And, you know, I think it was fun to see, well, not fun, but the other characters kind of doubting her and saying, oh, I wish like Anakin Jedi or General Skywalker was here and stuff like that. And the only one who supported her was Admiral Yularen. So I thought that was cool that, you know, even though he almost died, he came back. And that was actually a good shout out to, I say, Return of the Jedi. You know, remember when Admiral Piet is on the bridge of the Super Star Destroyer and they're like, intensify the forward batteries, and the A-Wing is spinning on the control and smashes into the bridge, and they dive out of the way. And that was very similar style to this.
Yeah, I didn't catch that, but yeah.
But yeah, overall, I think it was pretty awesome, and I love how this arc starts off with Anakin and Ahsoka leading the charge in space, and then it continues on to the ground with, what we'll get into next.
Two handshakes. Geez.
2 handshakes.
2 notes. That's not a handshake. That's jazz hands. I liked a little throwback to Anakin being a mechanic. He's working on the ships and whatnot. Obviously, he does a lot of building and whatnot from his past, so that was good. At one point when the ship went through hyperspeed, would it still be on fire when it came out?
What do you mean?
Like, the ship it's been damaged, the outside's on fire, it goes through hyperspace, then when it stops, the fire's still going. Don't you feel like hyperspace would be fast enough to, like, extinguish those flames?
Were the flames still happening in
yes,
hyperspace?
Well, no, we don't see it, we just see the ship out of hyperspace, and then it's still going.
When it comes back out of hyperspace, it's probably just the fire starts again.
I guess. I just thought it was like cauterizing a wound, right? So like it's not like when you cauterize the sauce for a bit, then when you leave it alone, it's like.
I don't know the engineering aspects of a Venator class Star Destroyer, but I'm sure there must be some logical explanation for it.
Damn, why are you on the show if you can't give me the facts? I will give this one another middle one. I thought it was alright, a little preachy at times. I'm not a big fan of, you know, Anakin in general and the storyline they have from here. Ahsoka, she's warm on me, but I still don't. I don't check out, but my excitement checks out a little, and it's like, oh, it's just a Ahsoka Anakin episode. Like, okay, just because it's a whole episode about a storyline that I don't enjoy and don't agree with as a hardcore film first guy. So yeah, just a middle thumb for me.
I'll give this a thumb up. I enjoy this episode a lot, and I like what it brings, like, and where it goes.
Let's see, where is it here? Innocence over Ryloth.
Ryloth.
I said Ryloth.
I thought you said Ryloth.
Ryloth.
Ryloth. Are you saying Ryloth? Loth.
Ryloth.
Yeah. I thought you were saying Ryloth.
It's the same thing.
Ryloth.
With the space bucket around Ryloth destroyed, Obi-Wan Kenobi must lead a small clone force into a droid-occupied town to sabotage their anti-aircraft guns. Obi-Wan's mission is complicated when he learns the town's inhabitants are being used as living shields as a pair of clones, and his platoon forges an unlikely friendship with a refugee Twi'lek girl, Numa, who's been orphaned by war. Through their relationship with her, the clones begin to understand the real cost of war. ... Yeah, this was an episode I really enjoyed. Gave me mini flashbacks to the Rookies episode. This was kind of when I started to realize that I think I like even though it's in a arc, I feel like it's not that much. Like they're very separate. Like they're conjoined, but really disjointed as far as they don't overflow into one another. The only thing we know is we saw the mission of like, okay, this is how they got down there, right? It's very much like Rogue One. You can watch A New Hope without Rogue One. That's how I feel a lot of these arcs are, is that you could watch these episodes separately. And yeah, that's when I was starting to feel that I like some of these adventure episodes more. And maybe I like episodes with, so far we'll see, but with clones being a main protagonist or the main part, because we don't know their story and they can evolve or they can change or they can die, where, except for maybe Cody, because I know he makes it to Revenge of the Sith, but like for the most part, you know Anakin, you know Obi-Wan, Mace Windu, you know where they're going to end up. So I'm not a big prequel guy for any film franchise, so for me that always takes points down. So that kind of works when it's just the clones. I really liked the relationship with Numa that I had with the clones. Anytime, well, obviously Jabu was in a couple episodes ago, he was fun, but anytime there's a kid introduced into any TV show or movie, it can go terribly. Logan X-23, great. Iron Man 3 and that fucking kid, leave me alone. Anytime a kid is introduced, it could go very good or very poorly, because kids, you know, if you write them good enough, they can pull on heartstrings and be a good kind of
good anchor.
Not necessarily an anchor. A good stake to have, right? And it's not steak as far as like meat, like stakes as far as, you know, anytime a child's in danger, that's gonna raise the stakes and it's gonna be more heightened, and you're gonna, you know, fear for that, because it's not just an adult, it's a child, they have their whole life, they shouldn't be in this position. So I thought it was really well done. She was really cute with, you know, where she tugged on the clones and whatnot. And then, yeah, the stuff was good action-wise. I've been wanting to see kind of an Obi-Wan-centric episode. This isn't exactly it, but he kind of has like a 50-50 with it, and I'm a big Obi-Wan fan. I like him in the show because he feels like he does in the prequels. He's just a general, you know, he's a charismatic, kind of witty guy, but, you know, he lays down the law and he has to be serious when he needs to be, and he has a clear mind of what the goal is, and he's very by the book. So Obi-Wan versus Anakin, that's why the Anakin episode's a little tough. With this, for me, and any Obi-Wan episode we've had, for the most part, I feel has gelled very well with Ewan McGregor's Obi-Wan and the prequel's Obi-Wan. So yeah, I really enjoyed this episode.
What did you think of his moment when he was, I don't know what the creatures are called, but when he used the Force and that whole detention of that scene, and the clones even were like, I can't believe what I'm seeing. Like, how did you feel
when
about that?
When he moves them all and whatnot?
He's moving them all, and the clones are just like amazed at what's going on.
It was good. It was really well done. It was cinematic. It was good use of his powers. So yeah, I thought that was good. I think for the most part they use Force powers pretty good in this show. There's one in particular, well, I guess it's not really Force powers, but I'll bring it up later in the next episode. But yeah, it was good to establish his power there.
Mm-hmm. I think the two main clones of this episode were Waxer and Boyle. I think they were.
Not Flesh.
No Flesh. No, he's out to lunch. But
Yeah.
or he's enjoying those steaks, you know. No, I really enjoyed this episode. I love that it followed up into the attack on Ryloth from the previous episode, and I just thought it was super cool seeing these, you know, Waxer and Boyle get kind of lost in dealing with these creatures, and I felt like really terrified. These creatures were scary when the Waxer and Boyle were like barricading in the house, holding the door, and the thing was trying to break in, and they barely escaped. I thought it was absolutely terrifying, but your name was Numa, right?
Numa, yeah.
Numa, yeah. I thought Numa was really awesome. I like how she formed that kind of bond with the clones, and I can't remember what she said at the end of the episode, but she called them a name.
Fuckers.
Yeah. Brothers, yeah.
Whatever their language was, she said that, and then what are they saying? And she said brothers. So obviously there's a bond there.
We'll get to another point in this series where I'll try and remember it, but it's like a few seasons down the road where it has like a throwback to Numa. It's really awesome. But
Anakin fucking slaughters the shit out of her.
She's Force sensitive.
Spoiler.
No, really, she's not. Or maybe she is. I don't actually know. But yeah, no, this episode was really good. As I said, I love the action. When Obi-Wan uses his Force powers to lure those like giant beetle dragons or beetle dinosaurs into the canyon and just drop the rocks, it was fantastic.
You're like looking like Hopper out of A Bug's Life, pretty much.
Yeah, except like Teenage Mutant Ninja fight a little bit.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
But this episode, easily 2 thumbs up for me. This was just fantastic.
2 thumbs up. Yeah, you know what? I'd probably give it 2 thumbs up as well. Because I just really enjoyed it. It was basic, got the job done. Some notes, a note that I forgot to mention in our very first episode, Anakin at one point has the lightsaber up to Dr. Vindy's throat to get information right in front of Obi-Wan. It's never mentioned again. And I kind of don't like that because I feel like anytime Anakin in front of Obi-Wan shows some violence or whatnot, Obi-Wan would be like, hey, control this, that, or...
There's only... Well, Obi-Wan knows Anakin's not going to do it.
Still, it's like, they've made a point several times in the series that Jedi don't use fear as a tactic, and he's using that right there.
Yeah, but it's like what Ahsoka said. It's like my master taught me. I'm not using fear. I wasn't actually going to kill him.
But that's still fear. That's still scared. If I go and jump up and scare you, and you get scared, and I go, well, I wasn't trying to scare you, but you still got scared, like, that doesn't make any sense. Like, they're invoking fear out of a person, and they're like, oh, but I'm not going to do it. But the Jedi Master would say, don't use fear.
Well, it's not fear. It's a choice.
No, it does not make any sense.
Like, I'll hold you here longer with my lightsaber, or you tell me, and I'll just let you...
But the person being interrogated will say the information because they're scared. Because
or they just don't want to have a lightsaber near their...
Because you're scared that they would cut you, right?
I don't know, I've never been in a situation
bullshit.
On my neck.
Now I'm giving this episode 2 thumbs down. No. And then we got introduced to, what is that droid that is in the next 2 or 3 episodes? He's like, he's longer, he's like, he escapes at the end of episode 4 on these ones. He's not Green Tambor, he's the other one.
Like with the kind of snout and like his mouth kind of lights up. And he's like really the intelligent one.
Yeah.
Kind of like the boxed head.
Yeah. He's not a movie character.
No, those droids are kind of like the. From what I remember, they're extremely expensive for the Separatists, and there's only a few of them that they ever really use, and they're there just to kind of aid and coordinate. But yeah, no, they weren't in the movies, and I didn't think there was really any place for them. Revenge of the Sith, there would have been no place for them to really have them, because each time we get to a battle with the Separatists, it was always led by Count Dooku or General Grievous.
Could have been when Tambor gets fucking killed by Anakin.
Tambura, is that who the Separatist leader was in this episode?
Yeah, no, he comes in later. He comes in the next episode.
Yeah.
But he got killed
with the.
Yeah, he got killed by Anakin in Revenge of the Sith. He could have been there.
Yeah.
Either way, at one point his quote says, "I'm a droid, I'm always right." Okay. And then I hit at one point when he drives with a tank, he has this stupid droid laugh. He's like, ah. That was kind of lame. But
you don't like droids that laugh?
No, not really. Don't like droids at all, almost. Yeah, but I give it 2 thumbs up because the all the good outweighed the other bad. So yeah. Anything else on this episode, Taylor?
Nope, that is it.
Liberty of Ryloth. The battle for the Twi'lek?
Twi'lek.
Fuck. Homeworld of Ryloth rages as the Republic attempts to drive off the occupying droid army led by Separatist leader Wat Tambor. Wat Tambor.
I think it's Tambor.
I'm calling him Wat. With his forces stretched thin, Mace Windu must convince the Twi'lek freedom fighter, Cham Syndulla, to help save. There's gonna be a super cut when we finish the show of just like me fucking up every single word. To help him save the capital city from droid's destruction. Initially, the Twi'lek hero is hesitant to aid Mace, but ultimately realizes the Jedi can be trusted and joins with him to liberate the city. It could just cause action. And ultimately the planet in a climactic battle. Wow, those people love this episode. What did you feel about this episode? I'll throw it at you because I've gone first the past few times.
I love this episode. I love getting Mace Windu in action finally. Again, it's the conclusion to the story arc, and I love how it's been each battalion kind of working with the next. And when Mace Windu, the one thing I have a problem with is, I know Mace Windu had no other way, but I feel like tactically it was just so against them. And if they took out the air cannons, I don't know why they didn't have air support take out those droid tanks that were stationed on that hill, because when those ATTs were moving along that ridge, that was the most worst tactical decision you could ever make. They were such in a bad situation. And I know Anakin in this episode expressed heavily that his forces were tied up in space still, but I still feel like, you know, pull like just one squadron of bombers away just to level that playing field and clear out those tanks and then get the AT-ATs to move across safely. Because he lost 2 of them, I think, on that ridge, if I remember correctly. And then he just, I feel like that wasn't smart. But then leading up to the point where he was on the not ATSTs, what are they called? Well, those miniature, like, skeletal walkers or whatever. I loved when they deployed those and Mace Windu hopped on one and they were just charging up and taking out the tanks. That was pretty good. Yeah, I think overall this episode was just a good conclusion. I loved how they snuck into the city, and I really liked how Mace Windu got the Senator to work with the this rebel resistance fighter on the planet to work together and actually come to terms and to work for the people. I love how that bridge that was crazy when the bridge turns off and Mace Windu's falling and it's just the music tone changes. See, they're doing away with the rock music because that would have been a prime moment for rock music.
Well, yeah, I shot that scene as I think that's honestly my favorite scene in the series so far because I don't even know if I guess there is music, but it's very, very light. It's more about the sound effects. And yeah, when that bridge collapsed and he's just falling down, he gets on the ship, he gets on that droid flying around, he's flipping and all this, and he's taking stuff out. And the sound design in that scene was great because every little thing that he did had a sound and it had a moment, made it very intense, and yeah, that was a phenomenal sequence.
Yeah, I really don't understand why the Separatist leader decided to just keep staying there and get his treasures. He could have left and just got his droids to do his work. And
why did they
was
do
getting
anything?
peeved at him, absolutely.
Yeah, Dooku doesn't do anything.
But yeah, I thought it was actually quite funny how that droid just decided to abandon him. You know, power to the droids. But I like seeing the.
Was that a Solo reference?
No, okay. It could be. Depends if you want to take it up as one. I like seeing the one of the Twi'leks actually kind of. I think he said, "I bet I can go faster than you can on that thing" to the clone trooper, because clone trooper was on his scout walker, and then the Twi'lek was on top of one of the creatures or whatever, and they were kind of just like some banter back and forth, like, "I bet I can go faster on that thing than you can."
Yeah, and then he speeds by him at one point and kind of like chuckles or has some sort of.
And even like there was one scene kind of off to the side, but the Twi'lek was showing a clone like how they mount onto one of the creatures, and the clone was getting on. I like that kind of stuff because this war, you know, the clones are bred with this one state of mind. You know, like the rookies, they just have this mentality. Everything is just they're shinies. You know, that's what they're called. And
they're very cerebral too.
Yeah, and you know, very rational and logical and all that. And then thrown into these adventures, you know, they mingle and they meet with. You know, all these different alien races where, you know, they're being shown like, oh, ride on this creature, you know, try it out, or like, oh, wow, this Jedi is controlling these creatures, like just, their world is just growing and expanding in so many ways, and I love that it adds so much more depth to these clones, and not just like one clone that has happened to in one scene, but you know that it's just, that's the way it is for all the clones throughout the whole show, all across each story arc and episode, so...
Yeah, no, I thought this was a fantastic episode. Mace Windu's a fucking badass as usual. And that's not just because, you know, Sam Jackson playing him definitely 100% helped. But I always loved his demeanor in the I guess just all the prequels. He was not much in Phantom Menace, but Clone Wars and Revenge of the Sith, I really enjoyed him, Sam Jackson. Because Sam Jackson can be over the top, but he doesn't play it that way in those. He plays it very, very, fuck, I'm brilliant today and forgetting fucking words. Subdued, that's how he plays it. Sam Jackson, even in Nick Fury, he's very over the top, very loud, rambunctious sometimes, but I love how subdued Mace Windu is, and he always feels like he's thinking. Obviously, we've talked about this many times before, but he feels like he has a different fighting style and things like that. I've always said, if I want prequels, I want So Far Back. I don't want Solo, I want Qui-Gon, I want Mace Windu. I think he's a very interesting character. I never read the comic book, as the one that came out, I think, last year, because people said it was just kind of alright, but I thought that character has a lot you could mine from him, especially he's kind of, I'd say, second in the top of that council, right? Like the way they at least portray in the movies, Yoda's the. I don't think they have a president, but Yoda always comes off as the leader. And to me, Mace Windu is always kind of second in command there. It's like if Yoda were to pass away, Mace Windu would take his slot as being the man in charge there. So I thought he worked really well, and he was much more different the way he acted with the clones than the other people. Like, it's not like a huge difference, but I feel like he was almost more one of them and more of a soldier instead of with Anakin and Obi-Wan. They really feel like they're bossing them around, where at times he does give orders, but it's very much that he is one of them, and he's on a team and he is directing stuff, but he's also taking input, and he will willingly sacrifice himself for the clones or to do things, where I almost get the mindset that they don't mean to, but other people maybe put the clones first, and then because they're more important. Where Mace Windu is, there's just one moment where he's carrying one of the clones with him that's down, and that to me really shows like he's just like a soldier like any one of them, which was strange for me to see initially, because he doesn't do that really in the movies. I guess Yoda ends up on Kashyyyk, but other than that, Yoda and him for the most part they just kind of chill in that tower for the most part in those movies. Like Mace Windu, I guess he does have that action scene at the end of Attack of the Clones. I'm not counting the Emperor attack. He does have that, but it's very minor. You know, he shows up, he has this cool line, party over, but so great character. I hope to see more of him in episodes, not just like, him being a blue hologram. Like, I want to see him more like this, because this probably next to Rookies is my favorite. I don't know which one I like more. It's up there, but it was a damn good episode. It was just action-packed the whole way through. There was not much storyline. Yeah, you kind of had the two separatist leaders, Tom Moore and that droid, going at it here and whatnot, but there wasn't any bad comedy for me. There wasn't anything taking me out of it. It was just, there's kind of a few episodes we talked about the beginning. They're just kind of like adventure. This was full-on action, and I liked all the war set pieces. So yeah, I really, really enjoyed this episode. So, and I really liked the interplay with him and that Twi'lek leader. Wow. Yeah. The Twi'lek leader, because I liked seeing their relationship evolve to just, getting to know each other, not really trusting them. Mace Windu pleading the case of the Republic and the Jedi and saying we could work with you. And then I love the one line that fits perfectly and makes the complete arc as this character, as far as him not trusting people when they're talking about, we can help you, blah, blah, blah. And he just goes, well, how long until I'll be fighting you or be fighting the Jedi? And I like that because it shows how untrustworthy that they view, or how they view everyone as untrustworthy because of what's happened to their planet. And then eventually when they do make the switch over, I love that line when he's talking to that Twi'lek leader in the...
Syndulla.
Yeah, no. When Syndulla's talking to
the
hologram, and he's like, you're there at comfortable Coruscant and whatnot. And I like that because it's very much like politics today, but it shows that, these leaders and big-time politicians, they're not in the thick of things. They're not on their planets. They don't know what's going on. So I really like that. And eventually they do learn to trust each other. And at the end, it's they have not a party, but they're all got together and cheering. So yeah, I quite like that. And I really, really enjoyed at the end too. There's like these fast ninja droids. Again, these shows have much more cooler droids than the movies. They were just they were moving around like they were. I don't know what they're called.
Those the droids from the Rookies episode?
No, they looked different. Maybe they could be the same one, but these didn't look like they even talked. They just looked like they were ninjas, and the way they moved were a lot different. Maybe they are hybrid, but then again, just much cooler than the movie episodes. So yeah, I would give this one 2 thumbs up, as those were my only notes.
Yeah, easily 2 thumbs up for me.
Season finale, Hostage Crisis. In an attempt to force the release of the crime lord Zira the Hutt from prison, bounty hunter seizes control of the Senate building and hold members hostage of the Senate. Cad Bane, the leader of the operation, with the help of the bounty hunter Ara Singh, issues his demands to Chancellor Palpatine, who has no choice but to meet his request. Unbeknownst to the hunters, Jedi Knight Anakin is on the loose in the Senate building. Arya Singh, isn't that the one that... Beckett killed, right, in canon now? Yeah. So, obviously, big episode because I've heard of Cat Bane and I've seen him. He's one of the main villains in Disney Infinity. So I've heard, and lots of people thought he was going to be in Solo. He's not. Very cool character. I like, obviously, bounty hunters in Star Wars are always fun. So I liked the beginning of this episode a lot. I liked the middle of it. The ending was fine, but I felt that's the only thing that holds it back from being a two-thumber, because I liked that they did get away with it and they did get the Hutt out of prison and whatnot, and because they're they're on their own, right? Like, that's not, because sometimes Palpatine's behind the shadow in these episodes, or Dooku. This is just like a separate faction that was doing their own stuff, right? Like, they had
No, this, see, this tie, I don't know, how do I say this?
Palpatine has a hand in it, at least, then, right?
Yeah,
So
they didn't get in that Senate building without, Palpatine's help,
Yeah.
That information was given from Palpatine to Dooku, and Dooku passed it along towards, Cad Bane.
Okay,
So,
I like that less then. I think just because in the entire series so far everything is just Dooku's behind it or Palpatine. That's why I did like those pirate episodes, because it was so off random. It's just like, oh, this equation that these people randomly got involved. They got Dooku, like we couldn't control him. I kind of like this idea.
Well, I'm assuming that was the case, but that's just based on what like season 2's intro is. But I mean, I can't remember if there's any confirmation. For all I know, it could be just them doing it because there is no separatist connection really to it. I don't know.
Yeah, okay, so I'll keep that in mind. But the ending for me, the beginning was great setup. I love them taking over the set. The action was really good. Very great bounty hunter stuff. Like Cad Bane just like snaps that guy's neck. That was brutal. The middle was great of like Padme and Anakin. We talked about they get it on and whatnot, and Anakin's going around taking people out, and I like seeing him out of his element with no lightsaber, and he's using the Force, and they showed that, hey, these bounty hunters could take him out, and I like the Cad Mouse. It was very, very Die Hard-ish of an episode. Like, that's what it felt like. John McClane stuck in a building trying to sneak around.
What did you think of that scene, like when Cad Bane is making his intrusion into the Senate building, and he was killing guys, breaking their necks and stuff, but then even when the whole squad walked in that room and he threw like the grenade in there, they all blew up, and then Aurra Singh comes in and just shoots the guy in the head. Like, how do you feel like kids should? Do you feel like we're getting pretty dark now?
Well, yeah, I don't feel the bomb and shootings that dark. I feel like it is, for me, it's more the neck snap. If it was off screen, it wouldn't be that bad, but the fact they just snapped the guy's neck, I think it is a little bit more darker. I'll hold judgment because there's times I thought that, and then we had a full-on Jar Jar episode, so I'll wait and see. But I don't need this thing to be that dark, but I was surprised by that, so that was good. And then, the middle... The middle was good, like I said, kind of Die Hard-ish. The ending for me was the problem where they get the hut out, they get away, Anakin cuts the floor, and then I was expecting a little bit more. And I liked that the bad guys did get away. I like it a bit less if Palpatine is behind it. I like that they got away with the mission, but I wish even then maybe there would have been a chase scene or something, because it just literally ends with them. They get the hut, they cut the floor, they avoid the bomb, and then the episode just ends. And it's kind of like, the whole episode was great, and then the ending was just like, we can't think of anything. Like, even if it was a spacer chase scene, something with Anakin trying to get to them after they got out of that room with the bomb. So I thought the whole episode was very, very good, but the ending was a little anticlimactic. It just ended. I was like, and obviously animated shows, this is like when we do the Spider-Man finales, they don't work the same way as TV, but I always hold it to that. And then as a finale, I don't think it really works. It's just a random one-off episode. So a very good episode, but I had those were my issues with it as far as the ending.
A while ago, you asked, we talked about if C-3PO knew about Padme and Anakin, but in here, she hid him from the fact. Yes, C-3PO was accompanied by Bail Organa, but I think the fact that he hid from both of them, I feel like that gives credibility to the thought that C-3PO probably doesn't know.
Yeah, he gets still hide. Maybe they don't know that C-3PO knows, though. I don't take it as like, they know the robot knows. Maybe C-3PO is smart enough, he just has a suspicion. So.
True, yeah.
And I liked that scene. I liked, he's making this case of, you're the most important thing to me and not the work. And she's like, but the work is for the Republic. I was like, I don't care about, I care about the Republic more than you, and this is my lightsaber that shows how much you mean to me, I've had that conversation many times in my life, so I understood where Anakin was coming from.
You've given away many lightsabers?
I've given away too many lightsabers together. Yeah, I thought that was well done. I think it went on a little too long of he was just being... And I got it then. Eventually, they kind of turned into being a little playful, so that ended up working. At first, I was like, okay, he's being a little too whiny, but then he's kind of overplaying it on purpose. So I liked that speech, and it's good to see them. They should get more screen time together, and they kiss and they're about to get to the good stuff. But I liked that. I liked the love speech because that is the core of Anakin turning, right? Is his love for Padme, and that's the downfall. And I like that was stressed upon, even though the movies do a terrible job.
I like this episode. Cad Bane became one of my favorite bounty hunters. He's just super cool. I love the Clint Eastwood villain style he has.
Great voice, great look.
Yeah, absolutely. I find it very surprising, you know. I like how Anakin was saying, you know, this weapon is your life, Obi-Wan told me, and he gives it to Padme. But then I'm just surprised, like, what is he hoping to accomplish, you know? He leaves the lightsaber with her, and she goes off, like, is he planning on getting it back at some point?
The thing I didn't understand is, when they cut away, she almost seems like she put it down on the desk, you know? So you feel like people
she did, but then she took it. It was on the...
Well, we didn't see her take it, though, did we?
I thought so, because then she walks out the room, she has it in her hands, and she puts it in her back. Like when.
But did we see her physically pick it back up from the table?
I think so.
Okay, maybe I'm wrong. Even then, I don't understand why she would not push it to the floor, and like, there you go, Annie, and then whatnot. So, yeah.
I don't know what his plan was to get it back, but I liked how, I feel like it was very loosely kind of, you know, plot filled in how, like, when Bail Organa's like, why do you have a Jedi as a weapon, or whatever like that, like, yeah, there's only so many logical reasons you could just say, like, why you have an actual lightsaber, because if you have a lightsaber, you know, obviously, unless you're sleeping with the Jedi, you're not going to have a good reason for why you have a lightsaber.
For a reason, it's still not that good.
No.
I found it when you dropped it. Okay.
It was very...
Why did you tell me that the first time, Padme?
I like how Cad Bane actually calls Skywalker out, like he recognizes him.
Why? That's what I was going to ask, because obviously I have no history with this character, so how do they know each other?
I have no idea, I can't remember that, but you know, I'm okay with that, because if Skywalker becomes one of those characters that just everyone in the galaxy actually knows, they know him, they know what he's capable of, kind of thing, and I think that's great, because Cad Bane, like, loses his shit.
So obviously we didn't get to see that in the and I think it's Fallen Stars, one of the books that makes a big deal about Leia Organa when she's general. The people find out that Vader is Skywalker and that's her dad. It's a big controversy, things like that. Never touched upon the movies, very annoying. But so Skywalker, what do people assume happened to him in Revenge of the Sith? Because the idea is like Thrawn knows, like he has an idea that Vader is Anakin, right? Or he knows in canon. And then obviously Palpatine, and then Obi-Wan, imagine, figures it out at some point. What is the...
Well, Obi-Wan, he knew that Darth Vader was Anakin.
Like, did he right away, though? Like, let's say he's watching the news and he sees this Darth Vader guy. Would he know right away, though? I don't know if he would.
I think he knew. I think he, from what I'm aware of, he assumed that Anakin did die on that planet. But then I think after a little bit, he could still sense him. I'm pretty sure he still knew. And when you start seeing, like, Jedi being killed and this Dark Lord, you know. Because he's like, oh, I'm the one who put him in the suit, you know?
Fucking Obi-Wan.
But,
chops his head off. But yeah, what does the world thing happen to Anakin?
Well, this... For canon point of view, and this isn't a spoiler for my Thrawn book. This is easily, like, everyone can, you can look it up, but the,
still could be a spoiler. Just because you can look it up doesn't mean it's not a spoiler.
The only ones in the galaxy, not including Yoda or Obi-Wan, the only ones in the galaxy that know that Anakin is Darth Vader is Darth Vader and the Emperor.
He's Darth Vader.
They're the only ones. Yeah. And Thrawn, that's one situation which I'll get into, and the Thrawn alliances review.
But I've heard that he knows. Well, that review is probably way out before.
No, it'll be dropping. I'll have it this weekend, hopefully.
I know, but this is unless you're on Patreon.
Oh yeah, shit.
This is coming out in 2019.
This came out a long time ago.
But I've heard that he has an idea, or he knows that Vader is Anakin. But that's not my question. My question is, what does the public think happened to Anakin Skywalker?
They think that he died. As far as everyone else is concerned,
just like with the
he
rest
died
of the Jedi?
in the Jedi Purge. Yeah, that's what they told. And that's why that phrase is thrown around, like, oh, Anakin Skywalker is dead. You know, that's why Anakin speaks, or Darth Vader speaks in that third person kind of tone in regards to Anakin, because it's not himself anymore. You know, Anakin he died, like, I killed him. You know, he's speaking like he's two people. But yeah, so that's what the galaxy thinks of that, which is. I don't know why at any point Leia and Luke would have made it public knowledge, like, oh, guess what? Luke's actually my brother and he's a Jedi.
Well, no, I could see what happened.
No, because last name.
Yeah, but what could happen is, Luke comes back to Endor, they're talking about it, and, she tells Han, and all it takes is one soldier
Han goes and
No,
guess what, guys?
No, I think that all it takes is one soldier to overhear a conversation happening maybe, and then they go, fuck, like, that's Vader's daughter and whatnot, and then it spreads just like any other rumor spread in real life. So I think that's plausible that could happen, so...
I think, well, I the only reason I don't know how, maybe you're right with Leia and that's how they figure it out. I think in terms with, you know, many people that were raised in the Civil War era and everything don't really know who Anakin Skywalker was. That becomes like an older time frame, an older period that most people like Han Solo and stuff, they don't know who Anakin
who Darth Vader is.
They know who Darth Vader is, but they don't know who Darth Vader was. They don't know...
Yeah, but that's not important.
But that's why when Luke gets older and they get this name Luke Skywalker, they hear about, they don't know that has any relation to Darth Vader or Anakin Skywalker, because these people obviously don't know who Anakin Skywalker was, unless it's like people who have lived for a long time. Like
no, I think they would. I think they would know if they know that Leia is Vader's daughter. I think people would have to know, and she.
But who found out first? Because people found out, I'm assuming first, that Luke was actually the son of Vader, and I feel like them finding out about Leia being the daughter would have happened much later.
You have to read the book because I didn't read the book, but. I would assume though, because Leia openly refers to Luke as her brother many times, even in the movies, so people would just know. Whether it is Luke, they found out about Luke and then that went to Leia, or vice versa.
Which movies though?
In Force Awakens and Last Jedi, because like Rey says like your sister sent me. So if Rey knows, just as nobody.
Well, I mean, yeah, that time it was.
But that's what I mean. So
knowledge.
To me, them. Yeah, but that's what I mean. I'm just saying that there's people that know that, so they would know about them both. So I feel like if you know that Leia and Luke are brother and sister, and Leia's the daughter of Darth Vader, or Luke's the son of Darth Vader, you can kind of put two and two together. If they're twins, go, they're Vader's kid, you know? Something that, like I said, would have been cool in the movies, but I'll talk about. Why is there a Ryloth at one point, which I'll give a shout out, I really like that fight scene where Anakin had to kill that droid assassin with the gun, and the droid like gets pinned back and he turns the gun and he goes to shoot. Really like that, really fun hallway fight scene. At one point they're looking for Anakin, they go in this room and there's this droid who she covers up and she's like pink and everything. Is that supposed to be like some sort of like prostitution sex robot? Because like she looked very pretty up, like very like Blade Runner, like, oh, you want to come in here, big boy? And like she did cover her chest, so I was caught off guard, and then I was like, oh, maybe this will come back later. No, so it's just some sex robot?
If you want to take it that way, you can.
What do you take it as?
I take it as it was just one of the servant robots that are in the...
Why did she cover her chest the right way?
Probably didn't want to get shot there.
No, not in the head, but in the chest. Okay, that's the only note I had then.
But yeah, sex droids in Star Wars.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
Do you have anything else on this episode?
No, I love that this was Cad Bane's introduction. I love how, it's just setting up the tone for where they're going with Cad Bane. He's not afraid to tangle with the Temple and the Jedi and the Senate and everything. That Twi'lek senator, he just kind of irks me in this episode a bit. He's just like running into the Chancellor's room. Chancellor, or something like that. Like he's freaking out. I can't do his accent. I mean that in a very nice way, Rylothian Twi'lek. I can't do your accent. Okay. But yeah, he just runs in there and he's clumsy and everything. And the Chancellor, I feel like, again, I get this. He's very calm and collected, but so often I get this vibe from him that he just wants to pull his lightsaber out and execute these guys, because he's just got this attitude at the same time, like, just shut the fuck up, Senator. Everything is okay. And he's even like, the guy's like, why do I have to go deliver the thing? And the Chancellor is like, I don't give a fuck, you're going, like, kind of attitude. He doesn't actually say that, but
wow.
He has these certain moments where he's calm and collected and he can be kind, but he's got a very authoritative kind of approach, and his authoritative approach feels very much like the Emperor Darth Sidious at times, without that evil attached to it. I love the clones bursting in through his room and just like the area is secured, and Anakin kind of thinking outside the box and going into the calm thing and like contacting the Chancellor. There were so many cool little things in this episode that were really good.
I feel like 2 minutes go, you got everything. No, I got nothing else, and then here we are going on,
Yeah.
I'll give this episode a 3.5, like I said, because the ending takes it down for me.
3.5. I'll give it a 3.5, like you did. That's a good.
What's your negative? What's your, because you're a big Cat Bane fan, so why? I thought this would be a 2-thumber.
I didn't like that it had to do with freeing Zero the Hutt. I think she was a one and done character.
She's pretty lame too.
She was in the Clone Wars movie. That's when they took her down because she was responsible.
Oh, this is another prequel episode.
No, this isn't a prequel episode. This is continuing on.
Oh, okay.
No, this was just kind of like adding more to her story after, because in the movie, her storyline was rounded off with her being incarcerated, basically in the Republic or whatever, in jail, and so now that she was being liberated in this sense, and I just don't like her. I don't know, like Zero the Hutt. It's like Jabba says it's my brother, but she's like a girl worm thing or a sister. I don't know. Like I can't tell. I don't know what kind of genders they have. I know I'm not assuming their gender, but it's just I'm not sure what the thing is, what Zero the Hutt is. So, yeah.
I'm not gonna touch that with a 10-foot pole. I'm just gonna say it's a hut, and yeah, she was kind of over the top. So I'd say, because I'm not gonna throw you this question, because is Rookies your favorite episode this entire season? Because that would be mine. Because if not, then you can throw yours out. Because I was gonna ask you your favorite episode this season. And give me a rating overall out of 10 for the entire season.
This season, there were so many good episodes, and just remembering all of them as we watched. Rookies is definitely up there. I think it's, the only episode I bought on my own outside of this. Huh?
Just bought.
Bought.
It's the only episode I bought.
Yeah.
Not bought in.
Bought in? What did I say?
Well, this is the only episode I bought in outside.
What the fuck was I saying? Hey,
I'm pretty bad at English too, but if I can try to correct you, I'll chime in.
Oh, that's good. It's tied with Rookies. No, not tied actually. Rookies is up there, but right behind it would probably be that story arc with Ryloth. I really like that one a lot. It's super awesome. And out of 10, I would give this, honestly, I would give it a 6.5 out of 10.
Wow, you and I have the same grade.
Really?
Oh, because I said like kind of a 60, 65. Because like I said, if there wasn't so many bad episodes or meh episodes, I could maybe bump up to 7. And because there's some great episodes here, but I think there is a lot of, I don't want to say filler, but just episodes that were kind of, to me, boring. Or they didn't go anywhere, like the Dr. Vindy 3 arc one. That was kind of a tough one. They're not even some of the worst episodes. Then there's stuff like that pirate episode that I really liked, the part 1, and the part 2 is kind of a letdown. Same thing with this Cat Bane. Really like the whole episode up into the ending. So that's why I would go 6.5 as well. What is that, C+? Yeah, so that's what I give it. So it has room to improve. I'm excited to get to it. I'm on the higher end now again, because I started this, I was like, then the second episode I was up, and then the past few episodes I was going back down more in the middle, and then these got me on the high swing. So I'm hoping for some good episodes out of the gate for season 2, Rise of the Bounty Hunters. So.
Oh yeah, I'll agree with you. I think there was just a lot in this season that I gave it so many points because there's a lot of stuff I liked, and I think this season was a very good kickstart to what they're going for and what they're doing. But I take a lot of points off at the same time because there was stuff I didn't like, and knowing where this show progresses to, it gets so good, and they really learn from their mistakes with this show, and that's why I feel like as great as the season was, it's definitely not up there in the higher like B plus A kind of area. That's for the later seasons, which we'll get into, but
I'm hoping.
Yeah, this the Rise of the Bounty Hunters that we'll get into soon. I'm super stoked for that.
Well, where can they find those episodes and all the other ones?
Oh, ladies and gentlemen, you can find those episodes on Patreon right now. If you're a Patreon donor, that's fantastic because we're worth the spare change and all that goody stuff.
$1, you get half these episodes. $5, you get every single one. And there's probably a lot up there by the time this is releasing for the public. So if you're really enjoying this and you can't wait for the next episode, over to the Patreon and you can get them all. So
you can't go wrong with that. But I mean, if you aren't watching this episode and you want to watch other episodes, then you can go on to our Facebook and type in Geek Space Podcast. Which, anyways, you'll find the links to this episode advertisement on Patreon. You get all the information there. Just go on our social media, our Twitters and our Stitchers and Stitcher social media. I can't remember. Oh well, that's don't go on there right away. Go on our social media first.
You can find the podcast
and subscribe to our YouTube. We got a lot of good YouTube stuff. We need to get 700 YouTube subscribers because we lost all our money. YouTube took it from us.
Wow, just throwing it out there. Not even being subtle. We need a subscription because we need money. We need money so we can just, support. We need, ladies and gentlemen, my goal is to get, we share one mic, and that's our biggest complaint for most of the time. We either get, hey, you guys are fucking losers. Okay. No money in the world's going to fix that one, unfortunately. But the other one is always like, hey, hopefully one day you can improve on audio. That's what it is. Any money we receive we go back in a cast. Trust us. We are not, we make a small portion here, but it's not anything we could retire on. We do this as a hobby. We do this because we like it. But we always would like to improve the show, whether that is the gear or getting it out there. So yeah, head over to Patreon. Things like that. That helps big time. If you don't have any spare change, subscribing on YouTube, iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud, even Podbay. All that helps. Leaving a review, a comment, but a subscription, that helps us a lot. So thank you very much for tuning in. We will be back with Season 2 of the Clone Wars. May the Force be with you.
Always.
Boom.
How does Obi-Wan do that when he Attack of the Clones, he opens the door? He goes like, he's on Camino, and I can't remember how he does it.
Can't tell you.